Hi everyone, and welcome to technically challenge 10, but it's only the ninth recorded challenge. So let's just say challenge 9 of 65 days of TypeScript challenges. And in the last challenge we looked at the if challenge, which was basically just using a ternary statement. And then the challenge before that, we looked at the very difficult awaited challenge, which taught us things about infer and the fact that we can't extend in the parameter scope, and also the fact that when we do extend, we can't get access to an inferred parameter in the falsy case of the ternary condition. Yeah, I think that's about it. So today's challenge 9, will be the Concat challenge, and let's get right into it. Today's challenge is about implementing the JavaScript array.concat function in the type system. Wow. A type takes two a type takes the two arguments, and the output should be a new array that includes inputs in LTR order. I don't know what LTR means, but let's go into the challenge. Hmm. Right. Internet is really slow today. I think there's an issue ongoing, but hopefully this loads soon. Wow, finally, thank goodness. Okay, so let's see. We're implementing array.concat. In the type system, it takes two arguments. The output should be a new array that includes inputs in the LTR. What could LTR stand for? So an example is concat 1, 2 returns, well, the concatenation of 1 and 2. Before I even begin, things that come into mind are the fact that pretty much the equivalent of an array in the type system is a tuple, more or less. And what we're trying to do here is to combine every element in tuple A and tuple B and return just one single tuple. So let's look at the test cases we have. What we're going to do is look at the test cases, and then we're going to try and, pass all our test cases. The first test case has to do with empty tuples. Second test case, an empty tuple, a non-empty tuple. Third test case is two tuples, and the fourth is two tuples with different element types. T, all type parameters unused. Any. Well, what stops us from simply doing T, U? So this is me trying to piggyback on, I don't know what challenge it was, but in TypeScript, this in itself is an iteration, somewhat. And I honestly expected that to pass at least the first case. As usual, let's create a type test, concats, and let's actually just do to empty. What do we get? Oh, we get I see. So that's why that's not working. I don't think that the spread operator works in the type space. Okay, it doesn't. Next I'm going to try is to see whether we can map to something like K in T. We can't, and that's because we can't find any element K. Okay, how do we do this? Other ideas that come to mind are using a map type. just like we tried to do using a generic type. Using a generic type, we can probably map through every element in our tuple, and for every index, return the value that's in that index. That may work. Just trying to think to see if there are any previous challenges we've done where we have kind of just passed a type through, and I think we've done something like that, but I'm not going to look at it just yet. So in terms of the map type, we're going to abandon that tuple syntax, switch to an object type syntax, and then we're going to define a k in T extends an array of any type. Actually, it could be an array of unknown type. What's it saying us? String number of billion. Okay. That's not enough, apparently. That's enough to constrain that type. But let's finish by doing k. Can we also do something like small t, small u, in u, basically u. In map type, we not declare properties of methods. In which case, I will that's the closest I can do, right? So we combine both of them, return t. What do we get here, first of all? Empty. I think I'm going too far. And I think a good solution will just be the union of these two types. Yeah. That at least gives us the first passing case. But for the second case, what do we get? We get okay. Now I'm just thinking, what's the equivalent of the spread operator in TypeScript? Even if we did the union and tried to map through, how do we? Maybe we need to convert these tuples into unions, create a union of both sets of unions, and then create a tuple from those unions. In the first case, how to create a tuple from a union from a tuple. What does that give us? 1. Okay. That just gives us t. A union I don't know. I don't know how to. I do think it has something to do with, again, creating a map type, TNT. Hmm. Okay, so it says we can't string, number, or symbol. Last time I tried it, I think I had an error. Oh, symbol, symbol. Um, hmm. First of all, we want to be doing this. Second of all, can we record on the type? No. T itself. Oh, I see. Um, I've been doing it around key of T for starters. And then we can access T with T. What do we get here? We get the actual. So we're just passing through the tuple. Key of T. And if we have 1, 2, I'm just going to get the tuple back. 1, 2. Key of T. TT. The union of T and U will be two distinct tuples. Then where I can actually iterate through. If I tried to do this, I would complain saying, if I try against this, I would complain saying I can't create methods in a map type. You. If I try the union, that wouldn't work either. There's something obvious I'm missing. Okay. So the first step I was trying to accomplish of converting a tuple to a union type, I'm struggling with. I still think that's the best approach to take. Question now is how to achieve it. If we're simply accessing, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If I try to access this outside of any statement at all, I'm finding T. Also, if I just pass T along, it gives me the tuple itself. There must be a way. Give me a sec. I know what happens if I do that. Okay. Alright, I'm going to have to look at a previous challenge. There is a way to iterate through tuples that I noted from a previous challenge. I think, so yeah, there's tuples object. I did this before, but I can't remember how I did that. Then there's length of tuple. How did I do tuples object? I think the key learning from here was how to look through tuples. While for length of tuple, first of array, length of tuple, it's amazing just how easily these things are forgotten. Question now is, should I look or should I just try to remember? If I wanted to convert this array basically into an object, what would I do? It's interesting that doing this gives me the exact same thing back. So when I do T in K of T, for instance, what do I get? I just get T back, and there's no way to That's how you iterate through a tuple. Yeah. For some reason, this is in reverse. What's the error? And then the initial idea was just to do that. Also, it's not even passing the first case. But this gives us a union of, let's see, that's what we expect, yes. Why is there never a union between two tuples? That's very confusing. You get 2 and 1, 1 and 2. So what do I expect if we have duplicates? If test is declared but never used. What am I saying? 2 and 1 probably means these are in reverse order. And these are unions. So just a sec. For every number in T, what we want to do, we want to get we could create an object that just contains the number. So what do we have here? Why is it in reverse though? Why is it being reversed? Why? So what happens if I put 3 in there and I create a union? I get 3 to 1, get 2 1 3. Why 2 1 3? Anyway, What happens if I just try to do this in an actual, in the body of a tuple? That doesn't work. Let's keep going. So if I wrap this completely and do something like k and find k. Hmm. But yeah, what's the idea now? We have an object whose keys and values represent all the values in our original tuples. This is so to getting reversed. 2, 1, 3, 4. How about 1, 2, 3? False, boolean, and 4. And this is supposed to be easy. Alright, I'm just going to revert to the original state. Getting that refreshed my memory of tools I learned about the previous easy solutions. Let's see. What do I know about a tuple? It has a length. We can iterate through it using the syntax tuple number. We can access its values by mapping through it. Why can't we concat? We can't spread. There is no point in checking. Okay. If we are going to concat, okay. So if we're going to map through a combined tuple of tuple of A and B, it has to be within the map syntax so that we can declare the looping variable. I don't see how that helps us though if that doesn't recognize Boolean values. But let's see, let's experiment. So what I'm saying here is k in, and then we do our whole L in something like T number union U number errors. What's it saying? No, I can't just do this though. What does this give me? The exact same thing as before. What do I want? I want a tuple. I don't want a union hype. And I'm still missing the Boolean values. However, I did this. What does that give me? Okay. If I unionize that with number, that gives me Boolean 1324 does not give me false. What if I access it liberally? No, it doesn't. What is false? Why doesn't it exist? Anywho, how do I change this to a tuple? Actually, how do I get this value false? That'll be U0, wouldn't it? Doesn't give me the value. So weird. If I use the comma, it would complain. Doesn't complain. What does the comma mean? Interesting. Oh, I see. Okay. Do I need to do this recursively? A way to say for every on a very simple level, I'm wondering how I would actually do a concatenation in TypeScript. Wouldn't I take two values? Let's just go back to doing this. TU. Okay. Without even spreading them, let's assume this is what I have. And let's remove this. Well, what I will get is 3 and 4. And if I had unions, yeah, I would combine. It wouldn't. It doesn't. If I had unions, how do you iterate through unions? You map through them. I wonder if you should. Oh, fine. Did you mean T? And here it's expecting. You can map through them how they are. Like that. I don't know. Can you actually? Would unions adhere to the same rules? 3, 4. Still a union, the exact same union we passed in, but we want an object, don't we? Even extending this. Oh gosh, this is such an annoying problem, to be honest. And it's hard to identify what syntax I need exactly for this problem. Given a tuple, we can convert to a union. Can't convert back to a tuple at the moment. Even if we could convert back to a tuple, we would still be losing the false and Boolean types. Why are we even losing those types to begin with? It just makes me feel like I think there's a very simple way to approach this, and it's eluding me. The class operator doesn't exist in TypeScript, so this will not work. Neither will this. Is there a way to just say take? There is a way to access the first element. There is a way to delete the first element. Well, that's complicated. So if we access, delete, and keep going until we're done. Okay, manually that looks something like T0 1, 2, 3, 4. The first thing is 1, and statements don't really work this way. How do you delete? How would I delete from? I don't need to. Interesting. Could keep going this way. Does this work for something like false as well? Check it does. Okay, I think we're in business. So 1, 2, false, 3, 4. The way to do this manually is what I'm doing now. What's T1, T2, T3? Sorry, T2. So up to T length. We can use constructs like while loops. We can do maps, and we can do maps. We can do additions or subtractions. We can do recursion. Hmm. All right, nothing's coming to mind. It's over 1 hour. I'm gonna have to see how other people approach this problem. Because, like, I'm completely blocked here. No, you have to be kidding me. No, I disagree. I completely If that syntax works, then this is just BS, because that was the first thing I tried. Oh God. That was the first thing I tried. Why didn't it work? Was the Oh God, maybe it was this. I saw a squiggly line and I didn't. I spent over an hour because I didn't read an error message. And worse still, I didn't realize that the spread operator also works in the type space. Yeah, that's bad. How early on did I introduce the spread operator? And so the problem here, the problem with my background is I read effective TypeScript, which doesn't actually cover the basics of TypeScript. Now that the more and more I struggle with this problem, the more and more I realize just how much was left out of the basics. So maybe it's time I just gave the handbook a good read because, oh, I have used this before. Because wait, is this a type of value space? This is the value space. Handbook, TypeScript, the basics, TypeScript operators. I would like to just look at all the operators that are available. I don't think any of this talks about operators. This is an introduction. Type manipulation. Key of type of index conditional maps template literals. Still nothing about still nothing about the spread operator. Utility type, cheat sheets, decorators, enums, iterators, and generators. This is value space. Mixing symbols. Okay, so this is covered under handbook, variable declarations, spread. Doesn't really give me it doesn't give me an idea of where in the curriculum of the handbook this lies. Maybe it's in the basics. Variable declarations. Oh, there we go. Variable declarations. All the way in reference, we have spread. This is value space anyway. It's not type space. And if we keep looking, what's the principle that says we're able to use the spread operator? That's basically what I'm looking for here. And it doesn't look like it's readily available information. Let me just try and find a list of all TypeScript operators. Okay, maybe I'm using the wrong keyword here. But what's the keyword they used here? Spread, just spread. And if I mean, surely there must be somewhere else where spread is introduced. All this is in the value space. And there is really nothing that makes it explicit that we can use the spread operator in the type space. I need to confirm something. What if all value space operators in JavaScript, what if we can actually use all of them in the type space? Big what if, but say we passed just one tuple, say we expected just one tuple. What do we get by doing t? Let's say we specifically are expecting a number tuple. What do we get by doing t0 plus t1? Complaint, it says something else expected. It says, yeah. If this is impossible, so where are the rules governing this? This is not nice. It should be easier to find in the documentation than it is here. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Yeah, no, skipping all of that. TypeScript handbook. Okay, basics. Nope. So one thing I'm really finding I don't enjoy about TypeScript is these implied existences that are not explicitly mentioned, like how to traverse a union type, right? Oh, you can just use the syntax union open. You can just use the syntax. Sorry, how to traverse a tuple? You can just use the syntax number. I have never seen that this specified anywhere. Not that I've read the entire handbook, but it's just that I think this thing should be more clear so that people who are picking up TypeScript don't have to guess and learn from guessing what is available and what is not. There must be a specification somewhere that I can reference. So working with union types. Talk about narrowing. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing about traversing union types. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Narrowing, type of, truthiness, equality, the in operator. This is value space. Type predicates, discriminated unions, exhaustiveness, more on functions, function call, function type expressions, inference, constraints, working with constraint. Unknown never function, rest, parameters, and arguments. In addition to using optional parameter overloads make functions that can accept the unbounded number of using the rest parameter. TypeScript parameters. Maybe that's the keyword under which they define these things. I think they just assume you to. I think they just assume it's obvious, but I will keep looking for an explicit documentation of the fact that you can use the spread syntax in TypeScript and how to use it. Stack Overflow. Someone says, so there's a little clause you may have missed. Value space again. Value space. Value space. I think, okay, creating types from types. Generics, key of, type of, indexed, access types. Interesting, maybe they mention it here. Person age. Okay. Here, so here we do see syntax on how to index through type of my array number, It's not exactly clear, but H. This at least gives a hint towards, yeah, iterating through tuples using the syntax number. Now, how about the spread operator? Map types. Maybe they have it in map types. Key string. No, no, no. 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 What am I looking for again? Spread. This is interesting. Template literal types. No, I don't think it's obvious there. Tutorials? No. Reference? They have utility types, cheat sheets. Common syntax for interfaces, for classes. Not enough. Not. Let's see if I can find anything that looks like they would mention the spread operator. Parameter properties. How about this? Section type indexing. They have type indexing. Tuple types. Mapped types. But no spread. No spread. I mean, fair enough. Maybe they just assume that it's so obvious. It's the first thing they'll try. We don't really need to make it explicit anyway. Intrinsic. Because it's so hard to find right now. Decorators, declaration, merging. What's this? No. Enums. No. Iterators and generators, mixins, modules, namespaces, symbols. No. Variable declaration. Closest thing we come is spread. And when we do see spread, it's in the value space. Maybe there's like some line here that says, oh, you can also use the spread in the type space. Second, the TypeScript compiler doesn't allow spreads of type parameters from generic functions. This interesting. Okay, so if I'm correct, then at the time of writing the documentation, it didn't allow for what I'm looking for, and right now it does. So I guess the next thing to do will be look at the version releases since this came out, and look at the release notes. Look at the release notes to see if this spread operator was introduced post this documentation, and that would solve my problem. If that's the case, maybe I'll contribute to the doc saying, hey, this is a thing, you can actually use it. But I'm going to stop here for now. This has been really long, and I learned about an interesting operator. But I think the most more important thing to have learned from this is that I really should look at the error messages more critically, right? Because I literally tried the spread operator first thing, and yeah, I didn't take enough care to observe that the error was telling me I needed to narrow down this type a bit more, rather than telling me the spread operator doesn't work, right? Um, yeah. So two lessons. Spread operator is possible in version 4.6.2, and also read those errors properly. Rest element type must be an array type. I think we can even extend unknown rather than any. And there we go. Yeah, I think we're done.